Hello, you fine ladies and gentlemen. How are you all doing? I hope your day is going well. But today, we will be doing an in-depth review of the EE-4 blaster in Star Wars Battlefront. What's that you say? Too late? Bespin DLC came out too long ago? You came to the gravy train too late? First of all, it's a gravy boat. Second of all, yes, maybe this blaster has been in the game for a while now, but that doesn't mean you know everything about it. Okay, see, here's a fun fact. This blaster was introduced in the Bespin DLC. Okay? Now, I understand that's not too interesting, so I did a little research and dug up a second interesting fact to tease your taste buds. This blaster was actually in Battlefront 2, and I'm pretty sure it was in the first Battlefront as well. I didn't realize this until I saw it in first-person view and recognized it as the blaster that was carried by that one rebel troop in Battlefront. You know, the one that could turn invisible? You know, the Bothan Spy he was called. Now, the blaster that the Bothan Spy carried was not in fact called the EE-4. However, in first-person view, as I said before, they look pretty much identical. So yeah, you could say I'm putting the pieces together. They also handled completely differently. But I mean, come on, they look the same. Kind of. You know what? You can just disregard all of that. It's just an idea. However, one factor that they do have in common is that they are both really great at close range. Now, the blaster that the Bothan Spy carried, I don't think that actually works at any range other than close range. Like, I never understood that blaster. I never knew how to use it. But nevertheless, the EE-4 is great at close range, and it's a burst fire scatter shot blaster, so it will be evidently more accurate at closer ranges, and it can actually be burst fired quite quickly, though this is really only useful in a pinch because the blaster can overheat very easily, putting you at a great disadvantage. So the faster you fire it, the quicker it will overheat. And that means I definitely advise you to fire this blaster at a steady rate with some patience, which in turn will probably result in better accuracy as well, which means you're going to be coming off on top of those firefights. Now, of course, at super close range, that isn't really necessary. You can fire it really quickly if you want to, but those type of engagements don't happen all that often, depending on what map you're playing on, of course. Now, that's a big thing, and I want to really talk about it, and it goes for all blasters in this game: the maps. The EE-4 is not really suitable for all maps in the game. Now, I know this isn't a tips and tricks video, but here comes a tip for you guys, and perhaps a really valuable one. I know that I really find this tip helpful. You need to pick a blaster that is suited to the map you're playing on. Now, I never used to do this, mostly because I was using the A280C, and it can do decent on almost every map, but I found that I could do so much better if I used a blaster that catered to each individual map. Nowadays, it's not often that I play two maps in a row with the same blaster, as every time the game mode switches to a new map, I decide which blaster and even which trait is going to cater best to it. So I suggest not trying to play every map and every game mode with the EE-4. It can certainly be done, but whether or not it's going to be beneficial, I'm not so sure. So to really use this blaster properly, you need to use it in the right scenarios. At close range, this blaster is definitely going to excel. The EE-4 is also really prominent at medium range if you make sure not to fire the blaster too quickly. So hopefully you know Battlefront maps well enough to judge which blasters are proficient on which maps, and if you stick to close and medium range maps, you will most likely do far better with this blaster than playing something like Walker Assault or Supremacy, where you will have to seek out specific engagement ranges on the battlefield. Now, I know I'm playing Walker Assault right here, but that's just because I wanted to test it out, and I can tell you, it certainly did better on close and medium range maps than playing on a big map like Walker Assault, because I really did have to seek out certain engagements to do well with this blaster. I couldn't just run around the map and go into the open and do okay. I really had to go to specific spots on the map that I knew would cater well to this blaster. So, maps like the Carbon Freezing Chamber are really well suited for the EE-4. You know, those close range, kind of narrow hallways. I think those are really good for the EE-4 blaster. And of course, there are plenty of other maps like that, and also it has a bit of medium range in it as well. So maps like that, if you can play on those, are going to benefit you greatly. So that'll be all for today. Quickly, I just want to say thank you guys for 100 subscribers. I really, really appreciate it. It means a lot to me, and I hope you guys all have a good day. If you enjoyed, I'm glad, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.